How did you people get to be so scary in a few minutes? You were just my friends before. Now it's like, Okay. First of all, I'd like you to all look at this jar of jelly beans and the jar of cotton swabs very carefully. Could you examine them? Just take a good look. There'll be some questions. Everybody's ready? Okay. All right. Jean's going to read the questions for you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. How many jelly beans are in the jar in front of you? How many jelly beans?
You can't vote in Alabama. No, you can't vote in Alabama. No. I'm sorry. No, none of you can vote in Alabama. Okay. Next question.
Name two things which the states are forbidden to do by the United States Constitution.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think you're going to vote either.
What does the Constitution of the United States provide regarding the suspension of the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus?
All right. Remember, this is to get to vote. Now,
how many bubbles are in a bar of soap?
All right.
Draw a figure at the bottom of this sheet that is square in shape. Divide it in half by drawing a straight line from its northeast corner to its southwest corner, and then divide it once more by drawing a broken line from the middle of its western side to the middle of its eastern side. Got that? How many seeds are in a watermelon?
Maybe that's enough. You think? That you're not, none of you, well, if there were only some white people here, you'd be allowed to, never mind, most of you can vote. Oh, it's wonderful. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, we had to go to Atlanta recently. My brother-in-law died. David Crosby was a great guy. I met him about 50-something years ago when he showed up with my sister for Sunday dinner. David's a large person, and he ate astonishingly quickly for the taste of me and my three brothers. We were used to, getting what we wanted, and then getting to, split up the leftovers and like that. And David would have finished his plate and be looking around when we were still loading, It's like, whoa, we got to up our game here. And then, after that, he beat me 3 times in a row at chess before I really got ready. I was getting ready to get my queen out, and it was going to be good, He told me there was something called openings in chess, which I didn't know. It was really annoying. But as he came along, he really grew on me a lot. He was a really dependable guy. He's a lawyer, and that he did the lawyerly thing of you couldn't flap him, And if there was a crisis, David was your go-to guy, and he's been my sister's go-to guy till now. They almost 55 years, I think they went. Close anyway. Okay, so we went up and it was really good. My family got together and he had been hurting for a while. It was time, those things. Okay, so next slide. While we were there, this friend, whose time had not come, her time came anyway. She had recurrence of cancer, her lungs filled with gunk, and she basically drowned and had a heart attack. And one of the nicest people, a Midwesterner, always positive, always seeing it's going to be all right, planning the next thing, and oh, that hurt. That hurt a lot. Next slide. She did have she was a bull, doctor of education, thank you, and wonderful person. And so we heard that, she had this event, and it was one of those where you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, and when we got here, it dropped, and she died a couple of days ago. Finally her body was allowed to lay down. So that was on this trip, but we wanted something positive from this trip. So we planned a trip, been reading about the Freedom Riders, planned a trip to follow the Freedom Riders from Atlanta to Anniston to Birmingham, and then eventually to Montgomery, and we wanted to go to Selma. Never just do it right, you just got to do it the way you do. With the impetus of this trip was the lynching museum in Montgomery, which is something I've been following since I found out about it years ago. They have these big pillars for every county that has had lynching in it that they can document. They have a pillar, and this is Hillsborough County's pillar. It hangs. You'll see. There are 5 confirmed lynchings in Hillsborough County. Last one in, I think, 1937? 34, okay. I wanted to see that. We'd tried to help the people who were trying to bring that to Hillsborough, and there is a thing I'll show you. Okay. So we took Highway 78, US 78 from Atlanta to Anniston, which is the route that the bus took, the Greyhound took. And in Anniston, the crowd beat on the bus, and there were, I think, 10 Freedom Riders on this bus. Don't hold me to it. There were a lot of different buses. Anyway, there were enough. In Anniston, the crowd, a mob, beat on the bus and broke windows and slashed tires. The police arrived in a leisurely manner and arrested nobody and escorted the bus to the city limits. At the city limits, they left the bus to its own fate, and the mob following in cars quickly stopped it and set it on fire. They threw what was called a bomb into it, and beat the passengers as they came out. The Trailways bus made it through Anniston. There were 2 buses left at the same time, and it made it. Let's see. It made it to Birmingham, where the people in that bus were beaten and violated. Okay. So we made it to Birmingham, and I'm a blacksmith, so I had to see the stuff. Birmingham is a big. It was iron mostly, but steel too. And so on the top of Red Mountain, there's the statue of Vulcan, which stands on a 150-foot tall pillar and is 56 feet tall. It's hard to tell if he's wearing pants in this, but I'm sure he is. One more. anyway, we had to go see that, and it's quite impressive. It was for the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis, and it didn't have a pillar then, but they brought it back and put it on a pillar, and they wouldn't let me go up because they don't like me. But they don't like anybody. But okay, this is the Sloss iron production mill, I guess, and it's been shut down for years and is a monument now. I truly wanted to see. I want to see the pouring of the steel, but they keep not letting me. I think it's me. All right, and that steam shovel got steam shovel. All right. So then we went to the 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham, and the egregious murder is this where the four little girls were killed. Go ahead. The event model there. We didn't get there in time to see inside, but keep going. Then we went to, is this Selma? We went to one of the museums. I'm afraid that I've lost which. This one had a lot of gory stuff. Go ahead. From the Klan. There's lots of Klan stuff around. Go ahead. Oh yeah, here you go. They're recruiting. They needed help. Okay, and this one is worth. Can you see this? Nah. Go back. The other way back. There you go. It shows that in 1940, 3% of black people in the South got to vote. And in 1960, it was 29. Big improvement. But in 64, with the Freedom Riders and Civil Rights Movement, it was 43. And then in 68, 62%. So the dam really broke in the 60s on voting. There's still, lots of segregation and like that. But and I think the Freedom Riders had a huge amount to do with it. Go ahead. Oh, before we get to that, okay. All right, this is good. This is the Lynching Museum, and each of these is a tablet for a county somewhere in the country. That it wasn't just the South, but these are tablets. Go ahead. That there are 4,000 confirmed lynchings, and they call lynching the murder of a person for race without benefit of proper trial, at least. So there were shootings and drownings and all that. And they didn't have to use a rope. Okay. I can't read that. Can you read that, Gene?
For the shot, drowned, and burned, for the tortured, tormented, and terrorized, for those abandoned by the rule of law. We will remember with hope, because hopelessness is the enemy of justice, with courage because peace requires bravery, with persistence because justice is a constant struggle, with faith because we shall overcome.
All right, that's Hillsborough again. Reminder that it's okay. Hillsborough, they had a group of people who got together in Hillsborough County and worked to get a monument here for lynching. And this is the group of people dedicating the monument. It's near the site, Sly Avenue and the river, I think, somewhere near there, that the last lynching took place. And one more. And then this is the description of the lynching of the last person so far in Hillsborough County. Okay, so we made it to the bus station in Montgomery. The first group of buses didn't make it to Montgomery. The first Freedom Rider buses got stopped in Birmingham. The one was burned, and the other they couldn't get out of Birmingham. The drivers wouldn't take them. They couldn't fly. That it was just they tried various things, couldn't get out of Birmingham. Finally, ended up being every time they tried to get a plane, there'd be a bomb threat on the plane. Everything, just nothing to let them move. So they finally snuck out to New Orleans on a plane, and the first ride was over. But there were these crazy people, and of course, Bobby Kennedy up in Washington and John are saying, "Oh no, let this cool down. It's too soon. Don't do this." Cuba, Castro, not Castro, Khrushchev. All these things are going on. We don't have time for this, And this group in Nashville, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, the first buses had been CORE, and this Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee said, "Yeah, you're going to make time." And they sent 10 Freedom Riders from Nashville, and they obeyed segregation to Birmingham. They still got roughed up, but they obeyed segregation to Birmingham. And then they actually made it to Montgomery, where they were, John Lewis and some people and they got beaten up badly in Birmingham and in Montgomery. But the trouble was Robert Kennedy had sent his personal representative with the bus, and they beat him up. They beat him badly, Robert Kennedy's personal representative. And Robert Kennedy got pissed. And Robert Kennedy sent 450 federal marshals. And so the buses started getting through. And that bus went to Jackson. In Jackson, they were all arrested for, disturbing the peace or causing a ruckus. It didn't matter. And they refused to make bail, so they were sent to Parchman, which is a nasty, nasty prison in Mississippi. And instead of people saying, "Oh my God, we can't do this," they said, "Screw you, we're coming." And 400 Freedom Riders went to Jackson and got arrested and went to Parchman Prison, sang songs and carried on, and finally broke the interstate commerce, segregation in interstate commerce. So this is the bus station in Montgomery, and the bus station where John Lewis got beaten up. I think it was his third time, but he attracted. The Freedom Riders and the people in Nashville just so impressed us. I mean, what guts. And then we went to the Rosa Parks Museum, and we found out it wasn't new. So Thank you.